When we talk about the defibrillator, most people recall those scary scenes, typical of the movies, where the emergency responder places two large pads on the patient's chest, causing him to jump on the stretcher. The defibrillator is used to restore the heart to a normal and natural rhythm when it beats irregularly. To date, they have developed into lightweight and portable devices, so much so that they can also be used by people without medical training. They are able to provide vocal instructions to the user who is using it regarding the procedure to be implemented. The case of the manual defibrillator is different, used exclusively in hospitals and advanced rescue ambulances. To understand how a defibrillator works, let's take a brief review of how the heart works. The heart works as a pump for the circulatory system as its atria and ventricles contract, systole, and relax, diastole, rhythmically. This all takes place in about 0.8 seconds in what is called the cardiac cycle. To function properly, the heart is managed by a self-regulating heartbeat system, which is able to rhythmically generate electrical impulses, which originate from the sinoatrial node, and then propagate in an orderly manner. In the case of ventricular fibrillation, there are rapid and irregular contractions of the ventricles, which can lead to cardiac arrest. In this case, a defibrillator can save lives. But how does a defibrillator work? As the name suggests, the defibrillator is a device that stops fibrillation, which is the condition in which the heart begins to beat irregularly. It all does this by generating a powerful electric current that is passed through the heart. There are several types of defibrillators: manual, semi-automatic, automatic, and implantable. In this video, we will go to see how AED defibrillators, called automatic external defibrillators, work. They are particularly useful for out-of-hospital cardiac arrests, as they can also be used by personnel not formally trained to recognize a shockable rhythm. AED defibrillators are often installed in public places and guide the user through the process with an electronic voice. It is a lightweight portable device, powered by a built-in battery, which is used to help people who have sudden cardiac arrest. The blood stops flowing, and the victim collapses into a state of unconsciousness. The tissues begin to be damaged and eventually die after a few minutes if no action is taken. Sticky electrodes are placed on the bare chest of the person who is having a heart attack. The sternal plate is placed just below the patient's right clavicle, while the apical plate is placed in the center of the middle axillary line at the height of the fifth intercostal space. This pair of electrodes, together with the electrically conductive gel, through a potential difference, facilitate the passage of current. The gel reduces the natural resistivity of body tissues and prevents electrical burns. Once applied, the electrodes send information to the device's computer, which is responsible for analyzing the patient's heart rhythm and assessing whether defibrillation can help. In case it deems it useful, then if it recognizes a shockable heart rhythm, for example ventricular fibrillation or ventricular tachycardia, the machine will alert you to the need for a shock and automatically adjusts the necessary energy level. At this point, an acoustic signal is emitted, and the light signal of the discharge button comes on. He will instruct you to press the button, move away from the patient, and not to touch him while giving the shock. Thanks to a loudspeaker, all instructions are provided to the user. At the end, the appliance pauses for a couple of minutes. After this time, the computer reanalyzes the patient's heartbeat and can instruct the user to administer further shocks. Small curiosity. Inside the AED defibrillator, there is a small black box which, as soon as the device is turned on, records all ambient noises and the patient's electrocardiogram to which the plates are connected. In the case of asystole E and pulseless electrical activity, we speak of non-shockable rhythms. Ventricular asystole represents the total absence of ventricular electrical activity. As there is therefore no electrical differential in the muscle to be corrected, the machine will not send any discharge, otherwise it would only create greater damage. In the presence of pulseless electrical activity, however, the heart muscle is unable to pump blood, for reasons that are not related to the electrical impulse. The electrical activity of the heart muscle is relatively normal, but there is no effective heart rate. The AED defibrillator will not allow you to deliver a shock to the heart. Unfortunately, defibrillators are not a guaranteed cure, but they offer cardiac arrest victims an extra chance of survival that they would not have without this technology. The success rate of defibrillation decreases by 10% for each minute that passes.